My name is Dr. Lakshmi, OPG department. My topic is uterine prolapse, etiology, clinical features, and preventive etiology. You can see the picture over here where the support has broken down and the person has collapsed. So the further slides will explain this picture. Now coming to the uterine prolapse, what is the definition? Uterine prolapse is the downward displacement of the uterus into the vaginal canal or a gradually descent of the uterus in the axis of the vagina, taking the vaginal wall with it. So this is the normal position of the uterus, which is anteverted. The prolapse of the uterus in the second figure. First, let us learn what is the supports of the uterus. They are divided into 3 tier systems, upper, middle, and lower tiers. Which are the upper tier? The endopelvic fascia covering the uterus, round ligaments, broad ligaments with intervening pelvic cellular tissues. Middle tier is the cervico-vaginal junction, fibromuscular tissue surrounding the vessels and the nerves. This is important direct support of the uterus. Pelvic cellular tissues. In this connective tissue and smooth muscles, the blood vessels and the nerve supply to the uterus, bladder and vagina pass through it from the lateral pelvic wall. The pelvic cellular tissue condense surrounding them and give direct support. This condensation of the tissue surrounding the supravaginal cervix and the vagina down to the superior layer of the fascia covering the levator ani constitute a tough endopelvic fascia covering the cervico-vaginal junction. It condensed and reinforced by plain muscles to form ligaments like McEnrods, uterosacral and pubocervical. The inferior tier is the musculofacial tone of the hollow vagina by the facial condensation at the vault and by the pelvic floor muscles. Coming to the supports of the vagina, positional support to the anterior wall, pelvic floor tissue, strong condensation of pelvic floor tissue, below posterior urethral ligament, laterally pubocervical ligament, bladder, support of posterior vaginal wall, endopelvic facial sheath covering the vagina and the rectum, uterosacral ligament to the lateral wall of the vault, levator ani with its facial covering. So here you can see all the ligaments and supports of the uterus, the transcervical and cardinal ligament which is running horizontally, the levator ani which is the third tier system. Then obturator internus muscle and pelvic brim. Coming to the etiology, what are the predisposing factors? The acquired factors are vaginal delivery with consequent injury to the supporting structure, overstretching of the McEnrods and uterosacral ligament, overstretching of the perineum, subinvolution of the supporting structure. So this is the uterosacral, cardinal, and which is attaching to the side walls and posteriorly to the sacrum. So stretching of this uterosacral and the cardinal ligaments leads to the gaping of the pelvic floor muscle and uterine prolapse. So there is something called congenital uterine prolapse. Congenital weakness of the supporting structures is responsible for the nulliparous prolapse. That is short vagina, increased paravaginal tissue laxity, occult spina bifida associated with neurological abnormalities. What are the aggravating factors? Postmenopausal atrophy, increased intra-abdominal pressure as in chronic cough and constipation, increased weight of the uterus as in fibroid or myohyperplasia, asthenia and undernutrition, traction by anterior vaginal wall or cervical polyp. Clinical types. That is vaginal prolapse, which is the anterior wall vaginal prolapse. It leads to cystocele. It is formed by the laxity and descent of 2/3 of the anterior vaginal wall. As the bladder is closely related to the area, there is herniation of the bladder through the lax anterior wall. Urethrocoele, formed by the laxity and descent of the 1/3 of lower anterior vaginal wall. As the urethra is closely related to the area, there is herniation of the urethra through the lax anterior wall. Coming to the posterior wall prolapse, it might be a relaxed perineum and a rectocele. Relaxed perineum, it is the torn perineal body protrudes, gaping introitus with the bulge of the lower part of the posterior wall. Coming to the vault prolapse, primary it is the enterocele, which is formed by the laxity of the upper third of the posterior wall. There is herniation of the pouch of Douglas through the lax wall, may contain omentum or gut, hence called enterocele. Secondary may occur following either vaginal or abdominal hysterectomy. So in this figure you can see the intestine which is protruding to the posterior vaginal wall, prolapse of the small bowel, which is called as enterocele. Coming to the uterine prolapse proper, it might be uterovaginal. This is the commonest type. That is, cystocele occurs first by the traction effect on the cervix, causing retroversion of the uterus. Intra-abdominal pressure has got piston-like effect on the uterus, thereby pushing it down into the vagina. Congenital. There is no cystocele. The uterus descends down along with the inverted upper vagina, often seen in nulliparous. Coming to the retro position, the uterus is displaced backwards, but the direction of its axis remains the same. Degree of uterine prolapse. First degree, the cervix drops into the vagina. The uterus descends down from its normal position, that is external os at the level of the ischial spine, but external os still remains inside the vagina. So these are all the first degree, second degree and third degree UV prolapse, where the external os is still inside, where the external os come to the introitus, and it is outside the introitus is the third degree. Second degree, external os protrudes outside the vaginal introitus, but the entire uterine body still remains inside the vagina. The cervix sticks to the opening of the vagina. Third degree is the uterine body descends to lie outside the introitus. The cervix is outside the vagina. What are the signs and symptoms? Minor prolapse of the uterus may not cause any problem. More severe prolapse can cause increased vaginal discharge due to the infection, feeling that something is coming out of the vagina, that is mass protruding through the vagina, mass per vagina. Dragging sensation in the lower abdomen and back. If cystocele is present, symptoms include difficulty in starting and stopping urination, urinary frequency, a feeling that the bladder needs emptying again soon after urination, problems controlling the bladder. Frequent urinary infections may result if the bladder never empties properly. If rectocele is present, symptoms include difficulty emptying the bladder in spite of a constant feeling that the rectum is full and needs to be emptied. Constipation can become a problem. Some common symptoms of uterine prolapse are difficult or painful sexual intercourse, low backache, feeling of rectal fullness, constipation, sensation of heaviness or pulling in the pelvis, vaginal discharge, frequent urinary tract infections, sensation of fullness in the vagina, protrusion of pink tissue from the vagina that may be irritated or itchy. Coming to the treatment aspects, what are the preventive strategies or preventive etiologies? That is effective antenatal care, which is the nutritional supplements, antenatal hygiene and physiotherapy with relaxation exercises. Then intranatal care to prevent premature bearing down effects, to prevent premature application of forceps before the cervix is fully dilated, to avoid prolonged second stage, to avoid too much fundal pressure to expel out the placenta, to perform timely and adequate episiotomy, to repair the perineal injuries immediately and accurately. These are all the etiologies of prolapse which can be prevented. Postnatal care also to prevent undue distension of bladder, to encourage early ambulance, to encourage the pelvic floor exercises. General measures being to avoid the strenuous activities 6 months following delivery, to avoid future pregnancy too soon. Thank you.